Hello, my name is Alfaisal, and I'm gonna be presenting lean practices for this session. I'm gonna start up my representation with the introduction. The lean practices are more profound and different tools, and it doesn't have a solitary of particular model of devices, practices, or gauges. Truthfully, it contains the mixtures of tools and practices that must be connected, concurring the circumstances observed to be made strides. The change to the service segment is internalized, be that as it may. The utilization of include instruments to enhance benefit quality is generally new, with restricted reported advantages and methodologies. Uh, in this way, there is still an awesome requirement for new techniques and innovations to the administration's division, regardless of the way that it represents over a portion of the total national output and work of most cutting-edge economies. Lean practice implementation. The phase end of the service industry is changing rapidly, and many economies are extensively researching on how to apply the lean practices in the service administration segment, as it has effectively shown its printness as mandatory action since established Greece, when many young people out there received education. To continue on the lean practices implementation, the administration division grew emphatically until the principal modern transformation, when it lost its financial significance, recapturing it just in the 20th century. Today, the administration part emerges for being in charge of the biggest share of the world's GDP and for making employments and riches that develop at higher rate than in different segments of the economy. Let's move on to Wipro, a legitimate example. In this slide, we will discuss about the one of the service retail company which has implemented the lean practices into their system, which is Wipro. Wipro's directors were not able to discover organizations that had utilized inclined methods to create customer programming on a Mune's scale. As we mentioned in the last slide, Wipro directors were not able to discover organizations that had utilized inclined methods to create custom programming on an immune scale, and they are facing some challenges. So they found that notwithstanding driving procedure, consultancies needed pertinent experience. Let's move on to the 7 waste principle. The company has implemented the most famous principles of the lean practice, which are 7 wastes. The 7 waste principles are applied in the Wipro to get the high output from their input, though there are different kinds of waste that still occur and numerous normal exercises that don't include judgment or ability and can consume up the enormous measures of time. Printing records ask for data expected to settle on a choice and setting up gatherings. To give some examples, application of lean in Wipro. The company applies many different models of the lean practices, and one of the model is the one-pack model. It helps to create generation stream, handle and administration, furthermore utilize all frameworks by the clients. Benefits of lean principles. A ton of action in an inclined situation is outfitted towards enhancing quality. As quality issues emerge, Critical thinking methods are utilized to main driver the issue. Then important benefit is that every individual in the process is working in the most effective way. Institutionalized work will guarantee they are doing it accurately, taken after a similar strategy without fail. This prompts to repeatability and expanded efficiencies. To conclude my presentation, it can be said that to implement the lean principles in service industries, it is important to institutionalize worldwide and nearby procedures for the different arranging time skylines, which convey the essential ability to incapable end-to-end service, which making. This is all what I have for this presentation. If you have any questions or you need more info, please refer to the references in this slide. Thank you for listening again.